Hey everyone, hope you're well. Welcome to The Loft. And today I wanted to go over a subject that is of great interest to a lot of different investors. And hopefully this is something that you are aware of, but if not, stick with me because this isn't going to be a massively long video, but we will be going over compound interest, what it is, how it works, and how it can affect your investing. So a good place to start would be with what is compound interest. Now, there's an often told story that Albert Einstein was asked, what is mankind's greatest invention? And he replied with compound interest. And there are a few other rumours, such as the fact that he said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. But essentially, for what we need to know, compound interest is where the interest payments you get paid then in themselves make more interest. So you could do this, for example, with investing in the form of dividends. You would get paid out those dividends, those would get reinvested in, and then would hopefully be generating you more money in the future. Let's jump into an example and we'll have a look and just make the assumption that we've invested £10,000 and that we know that we can get 10% per year in a rate of return. What this would mean is after the first year, we'd get £1,000 back as 10% of our initial £10,000 investment. Providing we dropped that money back into the original pile to help accrue more money, the following year we would get £1,100 rather than the previous year's £1,000. And this £100 is essentially the effect of compound interest. That is the 10% of the £1,000 that we'd previously put in. So we would then be re-putting that back in and it would essentially cause a snowball effect. And this is what would happen if you were to essentially keep your profits in and reuse them, rather than take them out to spend them. Now we have an understanding of the mechanics of compound interest. Let's have a look at the two main factors that take play when we are looking at compound interest, these being time and also return. Starting with time, let's have a look at what happens if we extrapolate out our example and we assume that we invested £10,000 and then we kept it for 10 years investing £100 every single month. What would happen is after this 10-year period with a 10% return, we would have gained just shy of £46,000. Now let's have a look a little bit further down the line and move to 10 or 20 years. So a further 10 years will take us from 46,000 up to 139,000. And then after another 10 years from that, so 30 years in total, we move to just shy of £381,000, with around £300,000 of that actually coming purely from the interest that we have gained rather than the money that we've actually put in. So now let's have a look at see how return actually runs and affects compound interest itself by just playing around with the percentage return rate. So if we move the percentage return rate from 10%, which it was previously, to a new percentage of 15% and keeping everything else the same, we can see that our new 10-year figure moves from 46,000 up to 66,000. And then if we continue down the line like normal, our 30-year figure of 381,000 with 10% shoots through like a rocket and we end up with a total of £1,218,000, which highlights the reason that a lot of investors try to make sure they're getting the best returns while also keeping a level of safety around their initial investment. So what are the two main takeaways from everything we've just looked at? Well, I feel these are relatively straightforward. Number one is to start investing as soon as possible. You don't want to be waiting 10 years thinking, oh, well, I can do it later. I'll invest a bit later down the line when I've got more money and I don't want to buy as much alcohol or buy as much food or anything like that. If you started 10 years from now, that could be the difference between £300,000 in the bank and £1.2 million in the bank. So this highlights that personally, just get started. Whatever you have spare, start investing, providing you are comfortable with the risks that you'd be taking. The second one I would say is the main highlight is the rate of return that we could get. And what we want to do is, as much as possible, ensure that we're getting the highest return possible while keeping a layer of safety where possible with our investments. So that is compound interest. And personally, I do agree with Albert Einstein in the fact that compound interest is one of the eighth wonders of the world. And I personally enjoy playing with the compound interest calculator, which I will have linked down below if you wanted to check that out. If you're interested in another video that I've done that YouTube thinks is best suited for you, please check that out here. And until next time, remember to invest, save, and subscribe.